Imagine waking up tomorrow and every human on Earth is gone. No warning, no survivors, just silence. Within hours, the planet would begin transforming in ways almost nobody is prepared for. For billions of years, Earth existed without us. And if humanity vanished today, the planet wouldn't die with us. It would reclaim everything we built. Cities would collapse. Animals would invade the streets. Nuclear reactors would fail. And eventually, nature would erase almost every trace that humans ever existed. This is the story of what would really happen to Earth if all humans suddenly died. The first hours. The moment humanity disappears, chaos begins instantly. At any given second, there are thousands of airplanes flying across the sky. Most are on autopilot, but autopilot can't land planes by itself forever. Within hours, fuel starts running out. One by one, planes begin falling from the sky, crashing into oceans, mountains, and cities below. On highways across the world, millions of cars lose control. Trains derail. Cargo ships continue drifting through oceans with nobody left to steer them. Some crash into coastlines days later. Others float aimlessly for years. And then comes something even bigger. The lights go out. Most people don't realize how fragile the power grid really is. Power plants require constant human monitoring. Operators must balance electricity demand every second. Without humans controlling the system, power failures spread rapidly across entire countries. Within hours, huge sections of the planet lose electricity. Cities that never sleep suddenly become dark. No internet, no phone signals, no broadcasts. For the first time in centuries, Earth becomes almost completely silent. But this is only the beginning. The first days. During the first few days, pets trapped inside homes begin starving. Millions of dogs, cats, and other domestic animals die because they depend entirely on humans. Some manage to escape into the streets. Over time, the surviving animals slowly become wild again. Farm animals suffer even worse. Modern farming exists because humans constantly maintain it. Chickens locked in industrial farms die within days. Cows trapped behind fences starve. Entire food systems collapse almost immediately. But while domesticated animals struggle, wild animals begin thriving. Without traffic, gunfire, pollution, or human expansion, nature starts moving back into places it abandoned centuries ago. Deer wander through empty suburbs. Wolves return to forests near cities. Birds fill the skies without interruption from aircraft or noise pollution. And then something unexpected happens. The air begins getting cleaner almost immediately. Factories stop producing smoke. Cars stop releasing emissions. Air pollution starts dropping worldwide within weeks. For the first time since the Industrial Revolution, Earth begins healing itself. But underneath the surface, a massive problem is quietly growing. Flooding. Many major cities rely on pumps to stay dry. Subway systems, underground tunnels, and drainage systems constantly remove water. Without electricity, those systems fail. Cities like New York, London, and Amsterdam slowly begin flooding from underground. Rainwater collects everywhere. Subway tunnels fill completely. Streets crack apart as plants start growing through concrete. Nuclear disaster. While nature is recovering on the surface, one of humanity's most dangerous creations is becoming unstable. Nuclear power plants. Nuclear reactors generate enormous amounts of heat, even after being shut down. They require constant cooling systems to prevent overheating. Backup generators can keep reactors stable temporarily, but eventually fuel runs out. And when cooling stops, disaster begins. Across the world, reactors start melting down one by one. Explosions release radiation into the environment. Massive exclusion zones form around damaged power plants. Forests surrounding those regions become radioactive. Rivers carry contamination across ecosystems. Ironically, even these disaster zones eventually become wildlife sanctuaries. Something similar already happened in Chernobyl. After humans abandoned the area, animals flooded back despite the radiation. Wolves, bears, deer, and birds reclaimed the region because humans were no longer there to threaten them. This reveals a terrifying truth. To many species, humans are more dangerous than nuclear disasters. The fall of civilization. As years pass, the physical structures of civilization begin collapsing. Modern cities look permanent, but they're actually incredibly fragile. Buildings constantly need repairs. Without maintenance, water seeps into concrete, steel rusts, glass weakens. After around 20 years, many roads become unusable. Trees split apart asphalt. Bridges weaken from corrosion. Wooden homes rot away. By 50 years, entire neighborhoods are swallowed by forests. Skyscrapers survive longer, but they also begin failing. Windows shatter during storms. Rain enters buildings and weakens the internal structure. Steel frames slowly corrode. Eventually, gravity wins. Hundreds of years after humanity disappears, many of the world's greatest cities collapse into ruins. New York becomes an overgrown swamp filled with crumbling towers. Dubai's skyscrapers decay beneath desert sands. Las Vegas goes dark forever. The symbols of human civilization slowly disappear from Earth. What survives humanity? But not everything vanishes equally. Some structures survive surprisingly long. Stone monuments like the pyramids of Egypt could remain standing for tens of thousands of years. Mount Rushmore may survive for millennia. Massive dams and bridges could partially endure for centuries. But most modern structures are temporary. Plastic, however, becomes one of humanity's longest-lasting legacies. Long after buildings collapse, plastic waste remains buried in oceans and soil. Tiny microplastics continue circulating through ecosystems for thousands of years. Future life on Earth may discover layers of plastic deep underground, the fossilized fingerprints of humanity. And then there's space. Even after humanity dies, traces of us remain beyond Earth. Satellites continue orbiting the planet temporarily. Over time, many lose altitude and burn up in the atmosphere. But some satellites remain in orbit for centuries. Space probes like Voyager 1 continue traveling silently through interstellar space long after Earth forgets humanity ever existed. Imagine that. A dead civilization still echoing through the universe. Millions of years later. Meanwhile, Earth itself keeps changing. Without humans hunting animals or destroying habitats, biodiversity explodes. Forests expand across abandoned farmland. Oceans slowly recover from overfishing. Coral reefs may begin healing over centuries if climate conditions stabilize. But climate change doesn't disappear overnight. Carbon dioxide, already trapped in the atmosphere, continues affecting the planet for hundreds of years. Sea levels remain elevated. Some coastal cities stay underwater permanently. Humanity's environmental scars take centuries, sometimes millennia, to fully heal. Yet eventually, Earth enters a completely new age. Millions of years into the future, almost every visible sign of humanity disappears. Roads erode away. Steel completely rusts. Glass turns to dust. Cities vanish beneath forests, deserts, and oceans. If another intelligent species evolved millions of years later, they might never know humans existed, unless they looked carefully. Deep underground, they may discover strange layers of plastic, unnatural concentrations of carbon, radioactive elements from nuclear technology, tiny geological clues left behind by a lost civilization. And maybe somewhere in space, they would find our silent spacecraft still drifting through the darkness. But perhaps the strangest part of this entire scenario is this. Earth would survive us easily. Humanity often imagines itself as the center of the planet. But the truth is, life existed for billions of years before humans appeared. And if we vanished tomorrow, Earth would continue moving around the sun without hesitation. The forests would grow back. The oceans would continue crashing against shores. Animals would adapt. Nature would rebuild, not because Earth needs humanity, but because Earth never depended on us in the first place. One day after humans disappear, the world enters chaos. 1 year later, nature starts reclaiming civilization. 1,000 years later, most cities are gone. 1 million years later, humanity becomes nothing more than a geological memory, a species that once ruled the planet. Erased by time, and Earth moves on as if we were never here.